Around 200 policemen besieged in a convention center in Kiev have been allowed to leave the building. There are conflicting reports whether it was opposition frontman Vitaly Klitschko or the Interior Ministry that brokered an end to the standoff. The siege began shortly after leaders of the Ukrainian opposition partially turned down the president's proposals aimed at calming the unrest in the country. RT's Peter Oliver has more from Kiev.
This all started after we heard speeches from literally just behind me here on Independence Square, from the main stage here, from opposition leaders, in which they said that they weren't willing to accept the offers that had been made to them by Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. Now, to run through what some of those offers were: the constitution would change and that Ukraine would go back to a parliamentary presidential republic. What that actually means is that the parliament here, the MPs, would have far more power. It would actually remove some of the power away from the president as it stands at the moment, and would basically revert Ukraine back to the constitution it had in 2004. Some of those offers was the offer of the position of Prime Minister for one of the senior opposition leaders, Mr. Arseniy Yatsenyuk. Now, he's the leader of the group here called Fatherland. He's been offered the position of Prime Minister. He has said that he hasn't decided yet, and there will be discussions over whether he will accept that or not. And it's also understood that Vitaly Klitschko could well be becoming his deputy should he accept that position. Now, other offers that were put on the table was an amnesty for anybody that has been detained so far during the week-long violence that we've seen here in Ukraine. However, there was a stipulation placed upon that, and that was that rioters would leave government buildings that they've occupied all across Ukraine. So we heard these speeches, then we've seen these violent scenes. It has all kind of calmed down right now, but there has been a series of incidents involving the police here recently. What we have seen is on Friday evening, 3 police officers were attacked not very far away from where I am right now. There was talk of an agreement between opposition leaders and the police that rioters and demonstrators would leave the streets of the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Well, that certainly isn't happening right now from what we've seen.
With the standoffs between police and the rioters intensifying, a retired commander from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department says police in the U.S. would have used different tactics.
From what I've seen on the video so far, they're showing a lot more restraint than I think we could expect in most places in the United States. The use of the Molotov cocktails, the throwing the rocks and bottles, the striking him with clubs would all be considered lethal force in the United States.